This is Fowler Herb Street, I do believe, on this game. Week one's been a struggle. I'm not going to really dwell on this too much because everyone who follows college football religiously already knows all this stuff. But Brian Kelly and LSU, well, mainly LSU, lately Brian Kelly, haven't won a season opener since 2019. Yes, we know that. Yes, I think most of us remember that Clemson was 0-3 versus the SEC last year. Even though they won the ACC, they went to the playoffs. So I start with this. In the interest of making bowl season great again, could we call this the Identity Bowl? Could we call this that because there are two differing philosophies on college football? Maybe on life, but on college football, because I look at Brian Kelly and I look at LSU, and they knew they had deficiencies, and they went and attacked the portal. Dabo Swinney looked and he said, we don't really have many deficiencies because we haven't leaned on the portal. We've gone and recruited, remember that? And then we've developed and we have immersed our guys in a rock-solid culture that people mock Clemson for it, but it is different up there. I'm not telling you don't mock them. I'm just saying they're not lying when they say there's a little different way they do things. I know that rubs some people the wrong way in the personnel world. I know the trash talking behind the scenes, behind their back, shame on you. It is a little different at Clemson. So anyway, it doesn't matter if you don't win. So this is where the rubber meets the road on the test of philosophies. Everyone at LSU believes, they'll be the first ones to tell you, look at how much we spent in the portal. We answered all of our questions. Okay, now you get to play. Everyone at Clemson will tell you, we don't need the portal. We got us. We're all we need. Okay. Well, now you get to play, and you get home field at your back. I think the vibe around both of these coaches with those philosophies, to me, is kind of trust but verify. Everyone's fully willing to buy into Brian Kelly as long as his approach verifies. How do you not buy into Dabo Swinney? Everyone's still willing to ride for Dabo Swinney and his way of doing things as long as it verifies. But, if they lose 21-9 Saturday, then that's probably a little different tune being sung. So what are the keys to this game? Well, easily, to me, the most important is not the quarterback matchup. The most important is it is a classic time to find out sort of scenario. You've heard of a time to kill. This is a time to find out. And it's time to find out about LSU's offensive line. I have bitten my tongue on this. I don't feel great about it. But like I've just said 5 times already, it doesn't matter how you feel because the games are going to happen. So once we get to Saturday night, 20 minutes to kick off, 10 minutes to kick off. LSU takes the field. Here we go. 1st and 10. That's when we find out. There's been a little mixing and matching. They've got some new pieces. They got some guys who come back. You do not get a 3-week build-up to this game. You don't get Ole Miss's schedule, all due respect. You got to be hot right out of the gate. Clemson should have, on paper, you hear it there, I'm looking at it, one of the best defensive fronts in the country. So if I'm LSU, or if I'm trying to bet money on LSU, or if I'm just rooting for them, and I never bet a dime in my life and never will, I need them to at least force a stalemate there. Because what I can't have is a mismatch. I can't have myself 4 minutes to halftime sitting here saying, we can't get anything going on the ground. Man, it's last year all over again. Because the entire hopes and dreams of anyone back in LSU in this game and beyond is there will be more offensive balance. And they won't be in the 100s in critical rushing statistics. And Garrett Nussmeier won't be asked to win the game with his arm because that's how that touchdown to turnover ratio creeps up a little higher than you're comfortable with it. Caden Durham's got to be a big-time player here. That offensive line's got to allow him to be a big-time player. And then the follow-up to that, the reason their offensive line at LSU is so important is because it answers the next question that I have written down on this piece of paper, and that is, what does LSU require Garrett Nussmeier to do? Great question for the entire season. The question, the central question for this game. Hey, wait just a second. I appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year-round. All right, back to the video. What does LSU require Garrett Nussmeier to do? Do they require him to just stay on schedule because the offensive line does play at the level they should because it's LSU? Does the run game come through for him? Is it 2nd and 5? Is it 3rd and 2? Is he just forced to make good decisions, manage the offense, and then pick his spots, play action, make a few plays here and there because he is that good? Is it that, or is it 3rd and 7 all night? You just answered to me how this game will go. If you give me the answer one way or the other, I think a fast start for those reasons is actually borderline imperative for LSU. I'm not really interested in watching them play catch up here. That does not interest me whatsoever, because I do think if that's happening, it's probably because we're getting a poor answer to these questions, and it just doesn't lend itself to a happy outcome. Clemson's offense needs to scale here, though. For all the doubt you could have, for all the questions you could have about LSU's offense, you might have them about Clemson's as well. Total in this game is 57.5, yet there are scenarios where I see both of them struggling to move the ball a little bit. Clemson's offense last year was explosive in general, but you got to dive a little deeper into the book. You got to lick the index finger and flip a few pages to really understand the story there, because they had 9 games last year. That's worth a paper pop. That's a solid stat. 9 games for Clemson's offense last year of 5+ explosive plays. Top 20 in points per game. They moved the ball very well, didn't they? Pull out the magnifying glass. They played 3 SEC opponents last year. They were a combined 14 of 40 on third down. They were 2 of 16 on third and long. There are a couple of commodities they have at LSU that I trust with my life. Blake Baker's one of them. That's the defensive coordinator there for the unwashed. And I trust that they're right when they say, hey, we went and got a lot of really good pieces in the secondary. You haven't heard me doubt that. I trust that. And I trust that they can play a good ball game here. LSU's transfers in the secondary, huge X factor. Huge X factor, because if that stat profile for Clemson carries over again, if it looks a lot more like the South Carolina game last year or the Georgia game, God forbid, last year, then again, that goes back to, well, if you're going to hold them to 21, 23, I don't need Garrett Nussmeier to be Superman. I don't have to run it for 210, 3 touchdowns. So my feel here, as we get closer to a pick, my feel is LSU is going to be pretty strong in this game. My feel is that they will look prepared. I really hope Nussmeier is put in a good spot. I hope that he's good to go. He's 100%. He's put in a good spot, and he's given a chance to play his game. Like I just said, a bunch of third and longs, that is no QB's game. I don't care how good you are. That's not the sweet spot. The sweet spot is a complementary ground game, defense doing its job. And okay, then if you lose the game, then I'm happy saying that's on Garrett Nussmeier. I just hope he's given that opportunity. I think there will be a swing moment late in this game. It kind of feels like the USC game last year, where there's a lot of optimism. Like, you show a lot through the first 3 quarters that leads you to believe we're about to put this one away. And I like what we've seen. Still got some stuff to work on, but this is a good starting point. And then it just swings in the fourth quarter. Let's take a look at what the odds say. FanDuel right now, Clemson minus 3.5. The model could not agree anymore with our friends at FanDuel. The model, our internal model, for those unfamiliar, also has Clemson minus 3.5. You know the names I didn't mention yet that I think will be the turning point in this game? Moore, Wesco, Williams. If you're banking on Clemson's offense being able to get it done on third down more this year, it's because I trust those guys to win contested balls. And I think that'll happen here. And that is why I'm going to ride Clemson to win. I'm going to ride Clemson to cover. Competitive game decided in the fourth quarter. If I'm wrong, and if LSU goes up there and wins, it becomes pretty apparent pretty quickly that JP Poll was too low on him, I was too low on him, and at that point it's off to the races. So this is what God created big week 1 matchups for. We don't have to wait a month in. We get to find out immediately. Right now, that's number 5 versus number 7 in the odds to win the national championship at